Well, away from all this election stuff, last week you might have heard me cheering. We have a new National Children's Commissioner, Anne Hollonds, and amongst other things, Anne Hollonds, a psychologist and former head of Relationships Australia, the Benevolent Society and the Australian Institute of Family Studies. Anne Hollonds called for kids to be given more time to relax and play. She said, in our very crammed lives and with a crammed school curriculum, we have to ask if there's enough time for kids to play. She said we tend to load up their days. Now, you've heard my views. As a former teacher, I never set homework, and may I say immodestly, my students did come at the top of the state. I've always said if you have to set homework, either the syllabus is crook or the teacher is crook. And homework's become a nightmare. It creates awful teenage trauma. Students suffer anxiety and depression. The disruption to families is inestimable because often it's the parents who do the homework. And there are other things that children can do which are very important to their growth. Reading for leisure, listen to the birds sing, sit and gaze at the sunset, play sport, get involved in drama and dance, dream a little. The 5 words that will start a fight at home are, have you done your homework? Anne Hollonds seems to be saying that teachers and parents might need to reset expectations about heavy homework loads. She joins me tonight. Anne, thank God for you, but I'm really worried. Who is going to listen to you? That's my worry.
Well, it's not just me. Obviously, I've got this privilege to be in this role as National Children's Commissioner, but I'll be working with a bunch of other people around the country who really have at their heart the well-being of the children of this country, who not only are they our future, and we want them to be thriving now because we know that will influence their future, but it's their right to have the best start in life that we can give them in this rich country.
Oh, you're wonderful. But, Anne, I worry these days, and I talk to a lot of these kids. There's not much teaching in the classroom, and kids are asked to teach themselves at home with slabs of homework. I mean, you've got outfits like Education Victoria who recommend 1 to 3 hours per weeknight and 6 hours at weekends for students in years 10 to 12. Queensland high schools tell senior students to study for at least 18 hours a week out of school. And I think Sydney Boys High requires between 1 and 3 hours a night, plus 6 hours at weekends for students in years 10, 11 and 12. And a dentist doesn't fill teeth at night. What damage are we doing to our kids?
Well, when you put it out as boldly as that, I guess, it's common sense that some kids at least will be feeling completely overloaded and overwhelmed. Yeah. And we know that there are many parents who agree with you, Alan. There's no doubt about that. Parents are worried about the mental health and well-being of their kids, particularly in those teenage years when they're trying to do so much, where there's so much pressure, especially now, the exams are on.
And all it does is make kids hate learning. Waking up thinking, I don't want to go to school. I mean, what are we doing?
And, some of the countries around the world that do better than we do on those international scales of education standards, they are taking a different approach, and they are giving kids more time, more free time. Yep. And we could learn a lot from them.
Absolutely. I mean, you make the wonderful point that kids crave attention, and parents should switch off their phones and devices and give children the time they need. I mean, I hate this expression, and quality time, which usually means when the parent chooses to give it rather than when the child needs it. Do parents understand how important they are, especially in teenage years?
I think as parents, we all underestimate our own importance with the kids in those teenage years. I don't think we realise that. I think we think that they're only interested in their friends, right, or their screens. Yes. But actually, we know when you ask kids who they want to turn to if they had a problem, they would always say their family. Always say their family.
Absolutely.
We need to remember that. And it's that relationship is very, very important right through, even into their the latter years of their of high school.
And the trouble is there's no preparation for parenthood. Perhaps we should let you loose on parents, because parents outsource a lot of the care to the school. I mean, I worry whether the teacher is trained to pick up early signs of domestic violence at home or mental health and so on. I mean, it's just where do you go from here? How do you win and translate those splendid views of yours into the whole teaching profession and parenting?
Well, you know, it's not about blaming parents or, in fact, blaming teachers. This is about trying to drive a bit of a social contract between the two and to really look at the evidence about what it is that supports the wellbeing of our kids. So we need the research evidence is there. We know that mental health issues are rising. We know that a lot of kids are struggling. So now we need to really work out what kind of reset do we need to make for the well-being of our kids. And you know, we're all in it together, and we need to talk to the kids too. We don't ask kids enough about what they want, right? We tell them what they should have. No, we don't ask them.
And how they feel
and what matters most to them. We need to get in their shoes a bit more.
Good on you. We need to talk to you often. I tell you, it's great to talk to you tonight, Anne. Congratulations on your appointment. Outstanding appointment. There she is. That's Anne Hollonds, Australia's new National Children's Commissioner. What do you think? Email me, alan@skynews.com.au, or you can text me 0414 000 848.